Hey guys, and welcome back. This is WrestleRant edition number 8, and I am your host, Bleacher Report featuring Columnist GSM, here today to review the August 25th edition of TNA Impact Wrestling that occurred last night. Looked like TNA kind of continued their pattern of more confusing episodes, having a good first hour, and then kind of dying down in the second hour with all the promos, with all the drama, something that a lot of wrestling fans don't want to see. So our first match the first thing that we had kick off the show was Kurt Angle. I'm sorry, one second. Kurt Angle and Crimson, yes. They hyped the main event, nothing wrong there. Crimson, I think, is getting better on the mic. I mean, he could be a potential main event star. I was a little down on him, but he's starting to grow on me in the last couple weeks. So I could definitely see him main eventing Bound for Glory if he goes on to win this tournament. And I'll get on to talk about that a little bit later. So our first match, we had ODB, Velvet Sky, and Jackie defeat the team of Angelina Love, Sarita, and Rosita. The match was definitely throwaway. Velvet Sky is slowly becoming Kelly Kelly. It was very sad. She couldn't even run the ropes during the match. I mean, it was a very disappointing match. I mean, it didn't have the potential to be good since it didn't really have a lot of good workers in it, like Mickie James or anything. But, I'm a little confused as to why ODB and Jackie are now friends with Velvet Sky. Wasn't it a month ago that they were beating the living crap out of each other every single episode of Impact? I mean, just to throw that logic out the window doesn't really make sense to me. I mean, I do like the idea of ODB and Jackie trying to play nice so they can get their contracts in TNA. I would definitely like to see ODB back in the active roster as a face again. But just throwing that logic out the window doesn't make any sense to me. Then having Angelina Love being attacked by Rosita and Sarita later on in the episode. What does that do? They're not turning face. There's two heel stables. What does that do? I mean, it just makes Winter look protective for protecting Angelina, but still, it didn't really do anything for me. So after that, we had Kid Cash defeat the newcomer Jesse Sorensen, who we both saw compete in last week's Gauntlet match. Very exciting match this week. Jesse Sorensen kind of looks to me like an Alex Riley wannabe, if you ask me. But he looks like he's getting there. I mean, he looked like he was on a roll last week. Kid Cash brought the best out of him. The X Division is slowly improving. It didn't really have it had kind of a story to it after what happened last week. And I'm glad Kid Cash pulled out the victory. And he needed that cheap win, that cheap way to win, in order to establish himself as a heel on the X Division roster. So I look forward to seeing more of these two. The interview from Kid Cash after the match also helped develop that, and the rookie mistakes and such and such. So after that we had RVD and the Pope in a Bound for Glory match. Another best match of the night so far. So far in the broadcast, this is the third match. So of the three that already occurred, this is the best because RVD and Pope have good chemistry. They pulled out some good moves. Pope pulled out. He sold that knee injury well. Lots of great action here. I'm very glad RVD is pulling some new moves out of his arsenal. He's doing a lot of new things in the ring, and I'm glad he won by submission to help pick him up by 10 points, and they didn't feature Jerry Lynn. I hate Jerry Lynn. He has made RVD lose so many points in the last couple weeks, but that's not the reason. Just having him interfere like a stalker for the last couple weeks is just creeping me out. Just me alone. But, anyway, after that this is where the episode started to die down after this. We had Samoa Joe come out and, Samoa Joe after this. No, this isn't where it died down, I'm sorry. After this match, we had Samoa Joe come out and attack the Pope and injure his left leg, left knee, whatever his injury was. And that further establishes Samoa Joe as a monster heel. I'm really glad they're finally doing something with him. I'm positive he won't be able to get in the Bound for Glory series by this point. Obviously, he's down by like 60 points. But I'm hopeful that he's going to get in a credible spot come Bound for Glory. He could be a monster when it comes to Bound for Glory. He has a lot of good chemistry with a lot of guys in the tournament, so he can probably put on a good match when it comes time for Bound for Glory. And I'm liking the attacks that he's doing. Very liking him. And, it's developing a story in the roster as far as the tournament goes. Maybe we can see Matt Morgan versus Samoa Joe at Bound for Glory. I'm not sure if it's already happened or not. I'm sorry, I'm not a hardcore TNA fan. I'm not sure anything past 2009 or 2008, I should say. But, you know, we'll see down the line. After that, this is where the episode started to die down. We had Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan go face-to-face with the crazed Sting. Now, much like anyone else, I am not happy to see these three in the ring with each other, cutting a promo on a match that happened 15 years ago. Sting versus Ric Flair, I don't want to see. I don't want to see Sting versus Hulk Hogan versus Rick. I don't want to see any of these three men wrestling at all. I wish they would just retire and get off my television screen. Ric Flair is a beautiful heel, but I mean, the way he's been acting last week and the way that he's been acting this week is a little, you know, dying my interest a bit. But I'm afraid we're going to see Ric Flair versus Sting come No Surrender, and then Sting versus Hulk at Bound for Glory. You're going to kill the guy. Don't kill the Hulkster. Don't put him in a match with Sting. Nobody wants to see it. Please, it's not going to draw any money. I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish here, but it's not doing anything. It's a match that happened. It's a wannabe match that happened 15 years ago. Please do not do it again. Then after that, we had a love fest, basically, between AJ Styles and Daniels, two best friends. I understand that. But Daniels was basically crying that he wanted a rematch with AJ Styles from Destination X after Styles beat him clean. He just beat him clean. AJ Styles said it was the end of it. Just one-time reunion. I'm scared that this week, or that next week, when they do have their eventual rematch on Impact Wrestling, on the coming episode of Impact, that we are going to see a dirty finish by Daniels and eventual heel turn. I mean, I'm not totally against that. I mean, I would like for them to stay friends and stay immortal, but it looks like they're crazed on reliving the Daniels and Styles rivalry, something that we've seen oh so many times, most recently in 2009 over the World Championship. I really don't want to see it again, although the match looks to be something special next week. But the main point that I'm trying to get across here is that Daniels doesn't need to make himself look like a wuss to his best friend AJ. AJ felt bad for him too. I'm not feeling bad for him. I think he's a loser for doing that kind of stuff. Drooping that low, I mean, that's not wrestling. That's a soap opera. I mean, I understand that wrestling is a soap opera basically for men, but this is just taking it to an all-time high. I mean, the drama here is really not needed or necessary. So after that, we had Immortal versus Fortune for the 6,000th time. So I'm not really down on the Immortal versus Fortune feud, but it's beaten down. It has been beaten down since the beginning of the year. Nobody wants to see this anymore. They've just put in different people into this match. We had Scott Steiner, Gunner, and Bully Ray take on AJ Styles and Fear Money. I'm not saying it was a horrible match, but it didn't really do much for me. I mean, it was too short to be considered anything special, for one thing. For another thing, it was a Falls Count Anywhere match I had no idea about since I was watching the contest, and I saw Bobby Roode go for a pinfall halfway during the match on the floor. Then I figured that was a Falls Count Anywhere match. They didn't really establish that all that much, that stipulation. It was just crazy, unorganized, and a complete train wreck. I mean, Bully Ray got the points. That's the important thing. I would like to see him as a top contender going into Bound for Glory. But this match didn't do much for me at all. Then after that, we had Mr. Anderson run in and attack all the members of Immortal. Most specifically, Bully Ray. He attacked Gunner and Scott Steiner, but Bully Ray got away. That's what I meant to say. But, once you saw Anderson drive up in the Hummer, I mean, I really don't know what to say. He's more of a Stone Cold comparison. You got CM Punk, now you got Anderson. I mean, you don't need that. You really don't need to draw the line between Stone Cold and Anderson. They're very much alike, but TNA is trying to make a Stone Cold replica with Anderson. And they're making a huge, big deal about Anderson returning. And it's only been 2 weeks. He was only gone for 2 weeks. He wasn't gone for like 7 months like Sting was. He was gone for 2 weeks. So I wasn't really surprised to see him there, and I really didn't care. They're building towards an eventual Anderson versus Bully Ray match at Bound for Glory, possibly, a rematch. Anderson has turned heel and babyface so many times that I really don't think anyone cares anymore. And after that, to end the night, we had Crimson versus Kurt Angle. I was kind of pissed and disappointed that TNA is giving away these kind of awesome matches away on free television. Crimson is improving immensely. You see him go on one-on-one for the first time ever against Kurt Angle, and not on pay-per-view, is a complete crime. Complete crime, because They have so much chemistry together. Basically, Crimson made his debut with Kurt Angle. This is a Bound for Glory main event. This is something I wanted to see at Bound for Glory. Now it's gonna seem like nothing if it does happen at Bound for Glory, because it just happened tonight. But I am glad that Crimson's streak is not over yet, and Angle didn't lose clean, because we can establish that later. But I am glad that it did end in a DQ. Crimson's streak is still alive, and Samoa Joe is getting over still as a monster. He held 2 appearances in 1 night. I am amazed by that. I am very glad. I was pleased with the finish, and Samoa Joe looked like an absolute monster, breaking Crimson's leg. I'm not sure if Crimson's going to compete in Bound for Glory or not. I know he's not legitimately injured, but I'm kind of wondering if they're going to bring him back in time for Bound for Glory and or compete in the tournament. No, we'll see. So, overall, I'm not going to say it was a horrible episode. It was a decent episode, kind of unorganized, some useless promos. The action was just there, nothing amazing, but it was a decent episode overall. And they're hyping next week's episode as a big episode with Styles versus Daniels in a rematch. We got Mickie James versus Winter for the Knockouts Championship next week. Lots of big things happening next week. I mean, it just feels like any other Impact to me. I don't really think they're going to bring in ratings for these kind of matches. They always try to do that, but they never succeed. We just save it for pay-per-view for all I think. So, overall, like I said, a decent episode. Looking forward to next week a little bit. Impact Wrestling is still in no shape that WWE is. WWE is improving immensely, so Impact Wrestling the future looks grim for TNA. But overall, really, just a there episode. But tonight, I will be back for a SmackDown review for tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. I'll be gone this weekend, so I don't think I'll be here for a SmackDown review. I will be back in a few days for a Raw review, probably next Tuesday. I will see you guys all then, and make sure to enjoy SmackDown tonight. I know I'll be enjoying it. It's going to be a great episode. Headline, Daniel Bryan versus Christian. Looks like an amazing match. Make sure to tune in tonight for that. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment. Much appreciated. I love the feedback. Also, make sure to follow me on Twitter, save_us_GSM, and to visit my personal website, nexterrawrestling.weebly.com, for more rumors, recaps, and more. Thanks for joining me on this week's WrestleRant Edition 8. I'm your host, Bleacher Report featured columnist GSM, signing out.